on, everybody? Welcome to the Friday edition of the NBA Slate Starter Podcast. I'm Eric, joined with my buddy Ryan as we break down the 10-game NBA DFS slate on DraftKings and FanDuel. We're coming to you right in that little 2-hour gap we have between the two late-night hammers and the rest of this slate. So far, Nikola Vucevic, really good first half, 32.6 on FanDuel. Russell Westbrook doesn't have 100 fantasy points yet, so that's nifty. Ryan, how are you doing? What's sticking out for you today?
Yeah, doing well. Obviously, seeing Vooch and PJ Washington just go at it as they lead the way right now. Obviously, we had some late value that opened up with Noah Lowry on the Toronto side of things. They're off to a fine start. The Dallas scrubs are paying off, so we'll see if Russ Westbrook will prevail for us yet again. Obviously, he isn't crossed 20 fantasy points as this week. At the end of the podcast, he might be at 60. Who knows?
Yeah, it's probably exactly how it's going to work out. Tim Hardaway Jr., I ended up actually just a little bit below the field today, which is so weird because I've been over the field now for the last couple, and I actually caught lightning in the bottle one time there at 2%. He's not going to be 2% going forward here for a little bit, unfortunately, because he's off to another good start. But what you should do to start off is get down to that bottom bar, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so you know when this and all the other content at Awesemo is going live. We are being brought to you today by MonkeyKnifeFight.com, just like we always are, the sponsor, the presenting sponsor of the Slate Starter Podcast. Head on over to MonkeyKnifeFight.com, check out all their prop-based games. Make sure that you hit that up. They've got MMA, they've got for the weekends that you got to definitely check out, and then all of the regulars, NBA, MLB, NHL. Use their multipliers, check all of that stuff out, use the projections, use all of the goodies you get over at Awesemo.com with the Plus Premium Package. Definitely check that out. Use all of those tools, put them towards your decision-making over at MonkeyKnifeFight.com, and I think you will like the results. So stop guessing, start winning, but use promo code Awesemo, AWESEMO, to take advantage of a $100 first deposit match bonus. Ryan, you ready to get going, my dude?
Let's ride.
Let us ride. So we got a 10-gamer with... There's going to be some value on this one. But on the top end, Luka Doncic going to be on a back-to-back here, playing him at point guard or small forward over on DraftKings. He's at 10-9, your most expensive point guard. LeBron James going to be out for, it said, 3 days, so that's nifty. There's a Q tag next to De'Aaron Fox. It said he didn't end up playing Wednesday, obviously, but there's a possibility he's going to be there on Friday. He got elevated up to $10,200 while he was doing nothing, which is pretty... That's impressive. I'm not even mad. That's impressive. Damian Lillard, 9,700 there up against the Lakers. Tough matchup, big price tag coming off of back-to-back, 4 games of 53+ in a row over on DraftKings. That's pretty good, but still a little bit under 10K. And Colin Sexton, last guy up there, 8,700. My goodness. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but are you going to go there? Talk to me about the top end of point guard.
Yeah, top end of point guard. Obviously, Luka leads the way. 10-9. It's a non-Russ slate. He's the pay-up point guard over there. Can't fault you if you want to play him. Obviously, anytime Luka's on the slate, you're going to have a little bit of interest in him, regardless of matchup. Luka's matchup proof. I expect him to play well against this Cleveland team. Other options, like you said, Fox, if he plays, we'll see what Luke Walton says. Obviously, Luke Walton's been tough to trust all year long, but Dame Lillard, 9,700 versus this Lakers team. It's a huge playing game playoff implication in that matchup. Expect Dame Lillard to show up and really try to carry the Blazers into a dub over there. Colin Sexton, 8,700. It's a little too expensive for my liking. The Drew Holiday versus a depleted Houston team. It's okay. I think that Milwaukee can blow them out in 2 quarters, to be honest with you. So no faults there. LaMelo Ball, 8,200. Kind of disappointing today. I liked him against the Chicago team today. I think I'll be going back to him against the Orlando team for sure. Over there on the FanDuel, paying up, obviously, Luka, 10-9 as well. You got to love that. Dame Lillard, 9,200. That FanDuel price tag, pretty solid, obviously. I like going to him. I like finding the extra 800 to go to Lillard over Paul. I know Chris Paul has had a great week. Obviously, he had a great game against Cleveland. Lonzo Ball has been balling. Now, a Philly matchup, I think I'm going to shy away because that's the peak of Lonzo Ball's price tag, 8,200. He's earned it, but it's a little too high for my liking. DeJounte Murray against Sacramento, as San Antonio's trying to survive to stay in the play-in game as New Orleans is on their tail. I think DeJounte Murray at that $7,800 price tag on FanDuel, pretty solid in my opinion. And Kemba Walker with no Jaylen Brown. I like that $7,600 price tag. But I think I still going to prefer LaMelo Ball at $7,500 compared to him on FanDuel.
How about Delon Wright at 6,800 over on DraftKings and 7K over on FanDuel? If you don't have De'Aaron Fox, how can you not love this cat still at that price tag? I mean, sitting there at 60, 59.4, what do you think about him?
So, yeah, obviously he's been great for our value, but I do think it's been kind of fluky in terms of like the steals and stocks perspective time of aspect. I know he's always been really good at that. He's not going to keep on averaging.
Is he world class at it? 8 and 7? Is he John Stockton reincarnated?
I don't know, but the last two games you'll take him. The minutes are there for him. It's going to come down to that Fox situation. If Fox is in, I'm all off. I'm kind of like be willing to take my chances elsewhere. I know the minutes are great. I do think the stock should come down, but man, has modified triple-double upside based on the way he's playing. So it's not the craziest play at all. I just think it's been kind of fluky based off the stocks performance of the last two games.
Speaking of fluky and stock performances, Facundo Campazzo, 5,100. Not a wonderful phrase because I was going to roster a bunch of him and I didn't the other day against the Knicks. I thought the ownership would get up to around 20%. He only ended up coming in 10%. If I had known that, I would have been over the field because his assist rate's up over 20 in the last month when he's had to fill in. They have so many guards that are out there. He ended up putting up a ridiculous 52.8 fantasy point performance over on FanDuel. He's still 6K. 6K is too expensive. I'm just not going to do it. If he ends up burning me, he burns me. 5,100. I'm curious what that ownership will come in on DK. You don't get that steals bonus. He had 5 steals and 2 blocks in that game. Came a rebound away from getting the double-double. I mean, he could have had an even bigger line than he did against the Knicks, and he only shot the ball 12 times, only going 5 for 12, 2 for 7, 16 points. But God, just filling up the box score. What do you think about him? And then we'll move on.
Yeah, obviously a monster performance last time out. And he's up to 6K over there in FanDuel. Tough for me to take that, but 32 minutes. But he's finding his stride now on this court. Obviously, he has 6 stocks and 7 stocks. That's not going to keep up, but the minutes are going to be there for him. And he's going to find a way to double upside. I think he's finding chemistry on this Denver team. They're going to need Campazzo. That team is shorthanded as it gets. No Barton, no Dozier, obviously no Jamal Murray. And they're relying on him, Austin Rivers, and Shaq Harrison. Shaq Harrison and Rivers were not on this team 2 weeks ago. It's just been it's going to be Campazzo's show, and Malone has to trust him. So I don't mind him at that price tag. And all the way spending down, I think Caruso, I expect him to get a ton of minutes if there's no Horton Tucker tonight, and if no Horton Tucker tomorrow, really would help him out. But at that price tag, 4K on DraftKings, got to like it. 5K is kind of expensive for him, but it's not completely out of play because I think he's going to play 30-plus minutes if there's no Horton Tucker. We'll see if the Rivers situation, if he is going to cool off after his revenge against the Knicks. He balled out. He was barking at the bench. So 3,700 for him. It's a solid play, I think. I don't think it's too terrible. I do think he'll be going to have some ownership, but Rivers at that price tag, I think there's merit to rostering him as a value play under sub 4K. 5,200 on FanDuel. I'll be shying away, but DraftKings is taking the snooze fest on salary this week, so I think we can go to Rivers over there. And Shaq Harrison's not terrible either. So one of those two guards are going to play quite a bit of minutes, and their salary is pretty low for us to take advantage of.
Shameless plug for the Slate Starter article. I wrote an article breaking down all 3 the other night. I thought it bared at least a little bit of a discussion talking about them, and I ended up heavy on Austin Rivers compared to the field against the Knicks, which was nice. But what wasn't nice is every single person on planet Earth went off on Wednesday, so it didn't even matter. Still got shelled, but that is the way the cookie crumbles. You ready to move on over to shooting guard, my dude?
Let's do it.
All right, let me get this up a little bit on my mic as well. Just, producing a show and simultaneously, sometimes, so if people think that once in a while I space out, I promise you I'm not spacing out on my boy Rayen Patnaik because I want to hear everything he has to say. And sometimes I'll go back and listen to things that he points out, but sometimes I got to be able to adjust it on the fly. I'm just glad we don't have any Rayen Patnaik hot mic situations going on to break my eardrums. And 100% my fault I'm producing this damn thing. So calling myself out, actually. Can we get some real producers on this staff? God. All right, top end. Zach Levine, 9,400 on the back-to-back. I'm assuming he'll be good to go. He was in the health and safety protocols, but he has been out since April 14th. So if we get some kind of value, I'm not sure what really changed in some of these Bulls price tags, but you got Levine, you got Vooch, who are just getting back here on a back-to-back. So at least be cognizant that could be a situation to watch. Top end also, DeMar DeRozan, 8,600. Sacramento, gotta love that. Only played 17 minutes against Utah. That's kind of an issue, but the 33 minutes, 44.2 there. We know the kind of ceiling he can have there. 8,600, no Derek White, obviously, for the rest of the season. And then Devin Booker, 8,200, going up against this tough Knicks squad. But, Knicks just got shelled against Denver. We'll see how they end up faring here on this road trip. But, 8,200 might be tougher to get to, but that's why you'd probably play him as a contrarian option on a 10-game slate. Hopefully he could put up 60-something. Talk to me about the top end of shooting guard.
Yeah, so we just got news. Talon Horton-Tucker is going to be out for the next 2 games. So out tonight and out tomorrow night. So that's going to bump up guys like Caruso, like we mentioned earlier. So keep that in mind. But looking up top on the FanDuel shooting guard spot, Levine, 9,400, pardon me. I just think he's going to continue playing sprints. And with Vooch there, he never really had shown that upside with him. So I'd be shying away from him. DeRozan, 8,600, a matchup versus Sacramento. I'm interested. Booker against New York. Booker's matchup proof. I know people might be like, it's a New York matchup. He might struggle. I'm going to still be over the field on Booker if I can find a way to do that. Sexton, 8K versus Dallas. I like that FanDuel 8K price tag compared to over there on DraftKings. Buddy Hield, 7,800. Obviously, he's been quite solid without De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Halliburton in the last 3 games. Playing 40, 37, 42 minutes. You're going to take those minutes. And at that price tag, you can definitely go to Buddy Hield. He's slowly on that Zion train, riding Buddy Hield to 10K. So he's only 2,200 away. So maybe he gets there. We'll see. But D'Angelo Russell, 7,800. Entered that starting lineup last time. Was pretty solid fantasy-wise. You'll take 22 and 14. And what is that? Yeah, 22, 14, and 4. So put up just shy of 46 FanDuel points. Pretty solid. And Jordan Clarkson, I think we can definitely go there. And Rozier is going to be tough to avoid at $6,200 up over there on FanDuel. Spending down, Terrence Davis the third, 4,200. If there's no Fox, we can definitely consider that. Malik Monk is playing really well today. We'll see what that ownership will check in tomorrow. And Houston's going to be shorthanded. So guys like Armani Brooks are going to definitely play a handful of minutes. They did sign a guy in Kyrie Thomas. So there is another body there. I don't know if he's going to be ready to play, but there's another body in that Houston situation. I know there's no Avery Bradley tomorrow, no Kevin Porter Jr. So keep that in mind. Over there in DraftKings, up top, Middleton should return 8,900. I just don't think he's going to play full minutes because I think Milwaukee's going to curb stomp Houston tomorrow. I like spending down to guys like Booker, McCollum, Rozier, all are fine. Rozier 8K against Orlando is not crazy, but that 6,200 FanDuel price tag, like I mentioned, much, much better. I prefer Buddy Hield at 8K than Terry Rozier at 8K over there in DraftKings. D'Angelo Russell checking out $7,300 again against a matchup against Miami is pretty solid in my opinion. I don't mind that. Other guys, there's just Evan Fournier was great against last time out against his former team. I think he's a solid option against the Chicago team. RJ Hampton's playing a handful of minutes at 5,200. He got an extra bit of minutes because of Cole Anthony's potential concussion, but Anthony did return. So the shooting guard is kind of a different shooting guard slate than it was today. Today it was really hard to find. There's a handful of really good options, and Malik Monk checking at $4,500 is pretty solid in my opinion. And Seth Curry against the Pelicans. Seth Curry is playing a lot of minutes when games are staying close. So I don't mind Seth Curry against the Pelicans matchup, but hearing this Talon Horton-Tucker news, guys like McLemore, Alex Caruso are going to play a lot of minutes. The backcourt is very shorthanded over there in the Lakers situation.
So we just got news Kevin Porter Jr. is going to be out tomorrow. Get excited for Houston, everything. Armani Brooks, 3,900 at point guard on DraftKings. But specifically, we got to talk about Daquan Jeffries, 3,300. Played 41 minutes and only put up 20 fantasy points, but he's 3,300 over on DraftKings. He's a small forward, 4,100 over on FanDuel. I'm sure maybe even a little bit there, but No Kevin Porter Jr. is a huge shift for that Houston team. Looking around here, they have Christian Wood, who's got a Q tag next to him. He's truly questionable for that. Kelly Olynyk has a Q tag next to him. He's considered questionable. Jayshawn Tate, he's got a Q tag next to him. He said he cleared it, but he's questionable for Friday's game. I have no idea what's going to go on with this Houston team, but considering Daquan Jeffries is now there playing for Houston, good Lord, he could play an infinite amount of minutes. He could play the entire game tomorrow. What do you think about him? And then the rest of Houston, we'll talk as we go, because we've got Anthony Lamb in the next spot who played 36 minutes and played really, really well.
Yeah, Houston's situation shorthanded. We're just going to have to wait to find out who's in and who's out. So there could be a potential where there's 9 bodies to 7 bodies. Maybe it's a fake 7, fake 8. We saw with the situation with DJ Augustine.
I knew, I called that. DJ Augustine, active is the worst words you can hear. Did not feel good about it. Glad he was not in my pool.
Yeah, they just needed 8 guys to be active. No one wants to forfeit a professional game. That's a pretty bad look for the franchise. So I think it's just going to come down to news. Really tough to pinpoint. Obviously, I'm willing to take my chances on guys like Daquan Jeffries when they're playing so many minutes. Armani Brooks has shown that he can shoot a NBA three-pointer at an above average level at times. So
he can shoot a ball sometimes, and that's good enough at 42 minutes of run, right?
Exactly. I mean, minutes are there. I got burned by them last time just because outside of KJ Martin and Kelly Olynyk, no one else was really good outside of Houston, which was really disappointing because I was way above the field. Like, I think if people who are comparing lineups, you would have seen me just like have so much Houston. It just didn't work out for me. I think I'll be willing to go back there based on how many fake actives are there and how many real actives are there, in my opinion. So
yeah, Anthony Lamb was a real active. We'll talk about him here coming up. But continuing our way along, top end to small forward on DraftKings, it is really gross up here. Luka Doncic is 10-9. I've been kind of like playing him at a small forward position a lot on DraftKings here as a spend up on some of these stars and scrub slates, because some of these scrubs are ridiculous, and then you have some really overpriced guys. So LeBron James, he's going to be out. Jimmy Butler's got the Q tag. He's 9,500. Probably that way too expensive actually for him still, alongside Bam. Just don't really, I'm expecting that tag to drop a little bit, but Jaylen Brown's going to be out. Chris Middleton's got a Q tag next to him. He ended up not playing on Wednesday. Michael Porter Jr. is all the way up to 8,600. I find that difficult to pay for when he hasn't exceeded 50 fantasy points in his last 7. It looks like six to be correct. And then DeMar DeRozan, 8,400 against Sacramento, I think is like your top spend up there. But they got walloped by Utah. I don't expect that in this matchup. But is there anybody else you'd be looking at the top end? And don't say an 8K Buddy Hield.
8K Buddy Hield. So I think we got to consider an 8K Buddy Hield. We already talked about that. So I think 8K Buddy Hield is completely fine, in my opinion. So no issues paying up for Buddy buckets. So, but top in a small forward, Porter Jr. against Utah. I don't mind it. I think he's going to continue to be the second guy in Denver. Pardon me. I think he can definitely find a way to take 20+ shot attempts. Maybe this game stays a bit closer. I like that as a contrarian option. I don't think he'll have much ownership, in my opinion. Down below, Aaron Gordon's going to have a good game at some point. Is it going to happen tomorrow? God knows. He is not playing even high 20s minutes. So he put up 6 3/4 fantasy points last time. Only took 6 shots, made 0. So go figure. So that means Aaron Gordon's going to drop 50 tomorrow. So
Does it?
Who knows what's happening with him? But spending down on the small forward spot, really ugly situation as it gets worse and worse and worse. So tough to really go to places in confidence in that small forward spot over there on DraftKings. We covered some of the shooting guard small forward options earlier. So I think Patrick Williams continues to get minutes, 4K. You can definitely consider him an option, but I'll hop over there on FanDuel. Jimmy Butler, 9,400 against Minnesota. I believe he's questionable, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yep.
He
was sick the other day.
He's got the Miami flu, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
As Miami
the
recently
Selena Gomez flu. That's a good flu to have.
I know, but I believe Miami did open up over the past couple weeks. They believe Levine's story are started to pop off, and Travis Scott threw the party of the year, apparently, according to many tabloids. So in Miami.
This
So
is
go
why
for
I love you so much. Where did that come from?
Oh, it just came from the news. It was just Twitter.
From tabloids. You literally said the word tabloids.
Yeah, it's just Twitter news. It was trending, and a bunch of tabloids are saying Travis Scott throws the party of the year.
You know how I know I'm too old is I'm 33 and I don't care, and I would never click on an article like that. And you did. Go ahead, continue on. Oh, by the way, Ignas Brazdeikis did not get there the other night in 30 minutes. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, but you know who can get there in 30 plus minutes? Probably Bojan Bogdanovic over there on FanDuel.
Yes, he can.
$5,700. That is still too cheap, in my opinion, for his new role right now with no Conley, no Mitchell. But if you want to go below that, Norman Powell didn't play much. Maybe Carmelo Anthony gets a few extra minutes. Those minutes went to Derek Jones Jr. Daquan Jeffries is 4,100 here. We had spoken about Anthony Lamb. So I don't know how I feel about Anthony Lamb. I know he was great in those minutes. He's going to be pretty popular, 3,500, depending on the fake and real actives Houston rolls out tomorrow. He's fine. I think you can get above the field at that price tag.
Yeah,
I can't fault you for going there. Someone who it didn't take much to get above the field with him last time, but I do think it'll be quite the number tomorrow if we get that limited Houston team as we expect them to be.
Anthony Lamb at 3,500. If he plays 36 minutes, I'm gonna have an absolute crazy amount. Lou Dort is now a game time decision. This is going to get really, really fun tonight. Get set. There's no way. If they're making him a game time decision, is he going to play? I'm going to say no. But that's why we're going to move along to the power forward spot, because we're going to have to late swap, and I love it. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 11,400 on the top end. Jason Tatum, 10,100. Both fantastic options. As I said, Jaylen Brown going to be out here again. He got dinged up in that last play of the game that I talked about the other day. Julius Randle, 9,700. Tough Phoenix matchup, but it's Julius Randle. He always has a ceiling. Only played 29 minutes. That's basically a day off for Julius Randle nowadays. So he basically is coming in rested and ready to go against Phoenix. And then Zion Williamson, 9,600. Tough Philly matchup, but under 10K is a discount for one Zion Williamson. I will let it be known he is 9,900 now, also under 10K on DraftKings. Talk to me about the top end power forward.
Yeah, top end of power forward. Obviously, Giannis, 11-4, could put up 70 in 2 quarters against this Houston team. I'm not kidding. And especially after I called him Greek fraud, he probably wasn't too happy. So he's on the Rinpack Revenge Tour. That's going to last maybe 2 days. But that's neither here nor there. Jason Tatum, 10-1, still no Jaylen Brown. He balled out in 3 quarters. He could definitely destroy that price tag. Jason Tatum is definitely 10-1. I don't mind saving off of Giannis in that situation. $9,700 Julius Randle. He struggled against this Phoenix team, I want to say, a couple weeks ago. When did he last play Phoenix? It was somewhat recently. Yeah. He only had 31.2 fantasy points for Julius Randle. That is disappointing. He was disappointing last time out. I rather would go to Zion against Philly. No issues there. I love Anthony Davis, 9,400 yet again against this Portland team. He has huge upside. I think AD has massive, massive ceiling. I've always said that. It just hasn't happened this year. And we have another AD slate today. It's going to be a back-to-back from him, but I do think this Lakers team needs him to play. Other guys spending down. Bagley, 7K, seems too expensive for me at that price tag. A lot of things have to go right for him, as he just is very volume-based scoring and is picking up rebounds, but you would like him to get those blocks additionally to really obliterate on a 10-game slate. KJ Martin, 5,600. He's going to play a lot of minutes, and if he stays out of foul trouble, it could definitely work out for you. I can't fault you for considering that. All the way down, Aaron Gordon, $4,300. I'm going to mention his name. There's going to be a game where Aaron Gordon gets hot and Mike Mullins is not going to take him out of the game. He's priced with guys like Paul Millsap, Georges Niang. Millsap, who got the start last time, played 24 minutes, was fine in 19 fantasy points on a late slate. It's not the craziest play at that price tag. But over there, I'll hop over on DraftKings. Power forward spot. Like you mentioned, Tatum, Giannis, Randall, Zion is sub 10K. I'll always have interest in Zion sub 10K. Andy, it's gonna like you did mention one time before a show you like Zion before Zion when Hernan Gomez is not starting and it's Adams. You just think Hernan Gomez takes a bit away from him, and I think you might have a point there. It's a very small sample size, but that's the only thing, and it's a very small thing that you might want to be cautious about. Other guys at the power forward spot, Kuzma in a matchup versus Portland, I think we can definitely consider that. I think he's going to play around 30 plus minutes. That is not a bad play in my opinion. Outside of that, Carmelo Anthony's 3,700. If there's no Norm Powell, I think there's going to be some extra minutes maybe sprinkled his way. I don't mind Carmelo Anthony. And if you want to play for Derrick Jones Jr., if he plays better, he's very cheap. That's really about it.
Yeah, that's about it for me, too. Looking around the rest of it, I mean, it becomes just a Houston question. Kelly Olynyk, as you said, KJ Martin, both of those guys would be smashes. Lamb, you can play at the power forward position over on DK. Daniel House is questionable, but nope, doubtful. So he's not going to go. That's there's no point there. This slate really starts a lot at 8 o'clock there. I also love the fact that we have 3 10 p.m. games. You can wait on some news, but really what I'm going to do is I'm going to have some late slate stuff going. I think that'll be a really fun Friday night late slate situation to be able to take advantage of. We'll see how Anthony Davis ends up shaking out. We'll see how that Lakers rotation ends up shaking out. But that Sacramento San Antonio game should be really intriguing specifically, and that'll be the heavy chalk of the evening. But I have nothing else really at power forward. It's pretty gross down here further. I don't see any point that you'd want to be playing Lauri Markkanen, Gorgui Niang on this slate. Willie Cauley's 9,400. He is just smashing in the middle of this slate right now. Has 20 at the half on DraftKings, but 4,300 at power forward. Would you take some shots on him?
Yeah, I took some shots on him today. So if he continues to play well, and if there's no Maxi Kleba, I think Cauley Stein, I think, is a great value option. And back-to-back, he's going to be manned with the options of guarding Jared Allen, Kevin Love, Isaiah Hartenstein. So, yeah, I think they're going to need him to play. But Dwight Powell makes for a great pivot off of him if he's going to come up with a ton of ownership.
All right, just wanted to throw him out there. And let's round it out here at center. Top in on FanDuel. We're going to get weird. FanDuel Friday. Here we go. Nikola Jokic, 11,200. Karl Anthony Towns, 9,800 going up against Miami. So looking at those top two, both difficult matchups for both of them, but obvious ceilings there. Cat was the one guy who didn't go off. D'Angelo Russell and Anthony Edwards, who, just whatever, they just went and smashed, but could very well be Cat going up against Miami this time around. Joel Embiid then down to 9,600 over on FanDuel. They've been in a lot of lopsided games. I would hope New Orleans can keep it a little bit closer here. Makes him an intriguing guy under 10K. And then Vooch in the middle of an absolute smash right now. It's sitting there at 9K. We'll see what that popularity is. Talk to me about the top end of center.
Yeah, top end of center. Is there a reason why Cat only played 24 minutes last time? I did not catch the recap on why.
I will find out.
Played 24 minutes, but yeah, that's kind of interesting. That's very low for Cat. But Giannis, Jokic, Embiid, Cat, Vooch. We got a loaded center spot. This might be one of the most loaded center slates we have the rest of the year, except the last day of the season, depending on scheduling, depending on seating situations. But I gotta have a lot of interest in Jokic for sure. Embiid definitely against this Pelicans team. Hernan Gomez is not going to slow him.
Oh, still there?
Really well.
There you go. Sorry, I cut out there for a second. By the way, I found out the answer to your Cat deal. So because it stuttered there for a second, I'll answer. Foul trouble. Always foul trouble. Cat is a guy who's generally gotten in foul trouble a lot. He's kind of avoided it this year and ran pretty good there. Complains to the refs a lot. I watch a lot of Timberwolves basketball, but picked up 2 quickies in the second quarter, in the middle of the second quarter, from the 5:58 to the 5:19 mark. He had 39 seconds on the court and picked up 2 fouls starting his second rotation in the second quarter, then picked up 2 more up until the 2:36 mark. He didn't come back into the game until 5 minutes left.
Oh, wow. Well, yeah. So 6 fouls. So the ref definitely took the under on the player pops. So
there it was. Yes, he did. Continue on.
As he knows. But center spot, like I was reading, it's a loaded center slate. All of these guys have huge upsides in their matchups. Jokic, Embiid, Towns, Vooch, all could go for 60 plus in their respective matchups. And obviously Giannis has center eligibility as well. Both sites, I think you could mix and match based off ownership. And then if you want to spend down below, Nurkic, 7K against the Lakers. He's not playing around 30 minutes, so keep that in mind. DeAndre Ayton, Rashawn Holmes. I prefer Holmes at 6,600. I think he's going to get some minutes. Robert Williams is questionable. And Mo Bamba, 6,100 over there on DraftKings. The star value play last time out, 6,900. A very nice price tag over there on FanDuel. I think we can go to him again. If he's going to play around those minutes, stay out of foul trouble. Not many options below him, in my opinion, stand out. The uncertainty in Robert Williams' minutes is really concerning. But Hernan Gomez, if he starts, that's where I draw the line. Anyone below him on the slate of this size, you're going to miss out on some serious amount of fantasy points, in my opinion.
I would agree with you. I'm looking at the rest of the position here. It stopped going on my browser here, so I had to pull up my phone to finish looking at everything here. On FanDuel, just kind of, as you said, it's just one of the more stacked center slates that we've had in a really long time. I guess one guy to bring up, just because if you are looking to punt it whatsoever, yeah, I'm not going to punt it. I totally lied. I was going to talk about Willie Hernan-Gomez if you get Adams out of there. He's under 5K, but only been playing high 20s minutes. You have to smash the center spot tomorrow when you have Jokic, Towns, Embiid, Vooch, Gobert, Bam Adebayo, Kelly Olynyk if he gives it a run. Nurkic ended up going off and going for 43.7 in just 20 minutes the other night. Yeah, there's a lot of dudes that you want to be playing at center.
Yeah, and that it's a huge center slate, and it's going to be fun. Those are slates that I enjoy, where you can mix and match with the field, and there's no clear-cut plays on the center spot. All those guys have huge upside, so I love those type of slates. And I think on a 10-game slate, it's not going to take much to get different. And there's no Westbrook, so I think that's another.
He only has 26 right now. It's in the third quarter. I mean, this is unbelievable. He's not going to go for 100. I am disappointed, but that is NBA DFS. Yeah, are you over or underweight on him today?
Well, he came in, what was his ownership?
59% on DraftKings.
Oh, I'm just under the field on him.
Okay, well, then you've got some leverage. Let it be known.
Well, there's fourth. Russ Westbrook could put up 3 fantasy minutes a quarter.
He was 61% in the $20, which is what matters to you. There you go.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, he could still be one of the highest scoring players if he doesn't even outperform value wise. So
yeah,
we'll see what ends up happening.
Yeah, he has the triple-double watch still. That's kind of what matters over there. He's got 9, 9, and 8. So there's...
Oh, he knows.
Okay, he already knows. Yeah, I don't have to tell him. Rayen Pack, any final words for the people to head into the weekend?
So yeah, it's we're heading in the home stretch. The NBA regular season is winding down fast and furiously, and it's been obviously another week, a lot of news, and thanks so much for yet again tuning in. Please do leave a review on Apple Podcast or whatever podcast platform you listen to. Those mean a lot for me and Eric, but you guys have a great weekend, and we'll catch you on Sunday night to talk about Monday's NBA DFS slate.
He's Ryan the GOAT. I'm Eric the Chalk Donkey. We'll see you guys back here next week. Have a great weekend.